Hi, I'm Aadhya Subhash and I'm a 10th grader.
Hi, I'm Pari Patel and I'm also a 10th grader.
So we got question 5, which is about life cycle, which is about birth, coming of age, and marriage.
So some awesome things.
That we've seen. So our first question was, what are some cool or awesome things that is about like life cycle and rituals? So I guess the main thing that we do to celebrate the coming of age or birth is we do a puja.
Which is like a ceremony, I guess.
Yeah, with where we basically pray to God for blessings and a better life for that person when they've reached that stage. And our second question:
are there any powerful moments you recall? There's not really any specific moments in our life.
Because like throughout our life we are we do a lot of rituals and puja, so it kind of becomes like a normal part of our life. So like in my household we have almost every week we have a small God's room in our house, and my mom sort of does like a puja like every Sunday morning. So I guess some significant things would be when you come of age, they have a ceremony, which like in English translation is called like a half sari ceremony for women, and
like weddings, you do a big ritual.
Yeah.
For that.
And then some comparisons that we saw would be, we learned that in Judaism, weddings are like a binding commitment, and I mean, yeah, in Hinduism it is too, and
you also do like where you
walk around the fire with the groom and the bride, and sort of, and like the vows that we say
aren't really like vows, but
yeah, they're more of like, it's kind of like a standard set for each couple to like be faithful to one another and things like that. So
it's just said in the ceremony as you go through
in like
it.
the Sanskrit language or Tamil language or Telugu language or whatever language that you're performing your ritual in. And also about like same-sex marriages, which is another thing that we saw. How like Judaism in like the Orthodox itself says that marriages aren't allowed, but you know, recently with coming to a new present era, that sort of rigid system is sort of fading away. And in Hinduism,
in like, it's legally accepted. It's not like
scripturally it's also accepted.
Yeah.
There's nothing in like
there's
the
nothing
Vedas or the
against
Gita
it.
that says that no same-sex marriages.
Yes.
But socially and culturally,
And maybe not. It just depends on the way you were raised and stuff.
And then I guess some questions that
you
guys had for us for about like Bal Vihar. So it asked about how like you guys learned about the 8 types of marriages and whether they're still followed today. So I guess because
they're like
India's
somewhat practiced.
Yeah, India is very diverse. So like North India would have a different type of marriage strategy than like South would. And so it's very hard to pinpoint whether it's practiced thoroughly towards like throughout India, but because I guess my best guess or hypothesis would probably be that it's probably not as practice as it was in the past.
Like some form of it is still
still exists. And then I guess in your class you also learned how like the father welcomes the baby by like some honey. I personally have never seen that happen.
Never.
Of course, like we've had other ceremonies and rituals where like we would celebrate the birth of that baby. And then
and like arranged marriages, it's not really a thing anymore, I want to say. Like it doesn't matter anymore.
Especially like outside of India, a lot of millennials or like our
age.
generation.
Yeah.
Our main goal here is for education and for studies, so we don't really focus on marriage for that part of our life. But our parents.
I mean, our parents do want us to get married. And
Yeah,
stuff, so it's
of
not
course.
like,
There's like a little bit of pressure in some families here to get married to an Indian guy, but I mean, I guess you've seen about like Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas. Like,
it's really, as long as you're happy. Really.
Yeah. So India's definitely become more accepting.
I think, and then we also got we have some questions too.
Oh yeah. So our first question is, what beliefs or rituals revolving around life and death do you guys practice or follow?
And what are some ceremonies or practices that used to be done in the past but are not used
So
now?
like one example of Hinduism would be like the caste system. That was like a major thing that like used to be practiced. But, in present era, it's not really practiced as much now. So I was just wondering if there are any sort of scenarios like that in your faith that have changed over the...
Just course of time.
Yeah.
And then do you guys believe in rebirth?
Yeah. Because that's a huge thing in Hinduism where, like, we believe that you will rebirth in your next life if you which was like the whole point of caste.
To move up.
Yeah.
And then we also got question 9. Like, what is it being a Hindu in America today?
And I guess the first question would be some stereotypes.
Or like myths and stuff?
Yeah.
One's like...
we would like to address, which, about like the husband, whether like if you're, as a woman, if your husband dies, then...
you die with them?
Yeah. Which, I mean, I know... Because, like, right now, I still do, like, in history class, when we are talking about Hinduism, I do see a couple students are like, wait, isn't the wife supposed to die with the husband? I guess, like, in the past, it was practiced, but now it's not really, and I, like, sort of would like to address that stereotype. And then another one would be, I've seen common was, like, about cows and how, like, why we sort of look at cows, as a sacred
the way we look at them,
being and a respectful being, is probably because we kind of look at every living thing as something to be respected of because they are providing us with food and shelter. And one example would be cows, and so we don't eat beef. Yeah, we don't eat beef or pork.
And then there's the whole Indian stereotype, like that. We're all smart.
Which is, I mean,
true.
Which is to some extent true, but in some cases, it's not really. Like, for example, me, I'm a living example of not being that smart.
Same. I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
So,
I guess that's another one of those stereotypes, and it's not just faced as Indians, but also like as Asians and like those people in general. And I guess a last thing would be the caste system. Yes, like it was rigidly practiced, part of our history, just like, slavery, how it was part of America, but now it isn't practiced today.
It faded out.
Yeah, so that is something that the caste system isn't as rigid as it was in India. Like personally going to India, I don't see.
Yeah, you don't get.
The untouchables.
Stuff like that.
That's.
Everyone's everywhere.
Yeah. And then I guess those are some things, and that being a Hindu today would be like. And a last question that we would like to ask you would be, what are some stereotypes as a Jew would you face today?
Or like,
and if you do, how do you cope with them?
Yeah.
Just that's it. Thank you.